Without further delay, we are pleased to introduce your new manager.
Hello, and welcome to the next Kit Quest series on the channel. As you can kind of see there from the intro sequence and the menus and whatnot, we are in FC 25, so I ultimately was kind of forced and caved and got it for like basically full price. But it's because the other day in their match against West Brom, who I think was one of the higher up clubs in the championship, looking to gain promotion to the Premier League. Oxford United drew with them 1-1, and Dane Scarlett, Tottenham loanee, scored the dramatic equalizer in stoppage time to secure the point for Oxford United, and it was his first goal for the club. If you remember at the end of the failed John Gabriel Peugeot jersey quest, I was basically saying that the next kit quest I wanted to do was this Oxford United whenever Scarlett scored his first goal, and I was basically like, that was like right before the international break, and I was like, all right, well, if he doesn't score this next one, we're going to start a new series. As you probably see on the channel, there's the Super Mario Galaxy Let's Play. It's also kind of going on at this point, so it's trying to probably be inserted in the middle of that, kind of. But yeah, so Scarlett finally scored. He scored his first goal for Oxford United. It was a pretty nice header off a long throw-in to secure the point for Oxford United in stoppage time. And that was pretty, honestly, to be honest, a pretty immaculate sports day for me in terms of my fandom, because that was the 7:30 a.m. kickoff. I didn't get to watch it because at the same time as Tottenham kicked off at 7:30 that day, and they beat West Ham 4-1 in the London Derby, which was Ange's first London Derby win, which is super hype. And then Scarlett scoring that stoppage time equalizer for Oxford United was excellent, so I could start this kit quest. And then 12:30 kickoff that day was Bayern Munich against Stuttgart. And Harry Kane, my favorite player, who's kind of part of the reason why I became a Tottenham fan, scored a hat trick in the match and a 4-0 win for Bayern, which is pretty hype. And then that night at 7 o'clock was the New York Islanders were playing, and they beat the Canadiens in a shootout 3-2, which is super exciting as well. So that was pretty much like an immaculate day. Also, Arsenal, Saliba got sent off, which was excellent because and then they lost 2-0 to Bournemouth, which was awesome as well. So that was like pretty much as perfect a day as you could get for me in sports. It probably never happen again. So I'm gonna enjoy it, kind of living off the hype from that while I can. But as you can see here, we're in here with Oxford United. This is gonna be kind of different to like all the other kick cuts we've done, because all the other ones have been Tottenham Hotspur. So it's like top level Premier League teams with like super high overall players and like insanely high budgets and stuff. With this, we are not anywhere near that level. Yes, we are in the championship, which is just a level below the Premier League, but that's still like a huge step down in terms of finances and stuff. And then also because Oxford United were a newly promoted club in the championship this season, they won in the championship playoff final, the League One playoff finals at Wembley earlier in the spring to get promoted to the championship. So they're like essentially a League One club playing in the championship. So their squad and overalls are like pretty low. I'm pretty sure like no one in the squad. Oh, these menus are weird. I'm gonna have to get used to these menus. But yeah, I'm gonna enter the squad hub. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get used to these menus. This is my first time playing ST25, but player information, development plans, and all that. Yeah, that hasn't changed at all. It's just like how you get there has changed. But as you can see here, okay, you have a lot of goalkeepers. Yeah, so we're rocking the kit we're going to be going for is the yellow home kit, which I guess for whatever reason EA Sports has not put the sponsor on it, because I'm pretty sure it has a sponsor on it. The sponsor is Baxi, Baxi. Let's do a quick Google search here and figure out what kind of company that is while we are here. It's a company based in England. Let's see what it is. Looks like they're like a gas boiler, like a boilers and like gas kind of like installation company for. I'm assuming this is them because they're based out of England. yeah, it's the same logo on like the air conditioning heating thing in the little picture I saw that like as like their actual sponsor on the kit. So I guess for whatever reason, EA Sports couldn't include that on there at the time, but yeah, as you can see here, like the entire squad, if you like just go through like kind of really quickly, it is all players. Actually, why don't we just sort it by overall? That's probably the smart thing to do. So yeah, our highest overall players are 70 overall, so like all our players are kind of in this yellow range or below. So that's going to be a very different challenge compared to like Tottenham Hotspur, where like the only players that are in this range are academy prospects essentially. So pretty much everyone's in that range now. So we're going to basically try and develop players and whatnot. But in terms of kind of the goal for this one, because it's kind of different from a Tottenham one, where like they're a top level Premier League club trying to end their silverware drought. We were a club recently promoted to the Championship, but at the end of the day, the ultimate goal in this kit quest as well is going to be to win silverware. But it's not going to be like the same as Tottenham, where I won't consider this like a series-ending complete success if until we win like all the different kind of trophies, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Premier League title, and like a European title like Champions League. For this, it's basically going to be like a trophy at all, any trophy, except like getting promoted to the Premier League. That won't count in terms of it'll count in terms of silverware, it'll be somewhat of success, but I mean kind of winning. It's hypothetically like a Premier League title, or if we win like a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup or whatever, that will be like considered a complete success. Like just one trophy because we are a championship side that I don't know if they've ever won any trophies. Let's go to, let me pull up their Wikipedia page. It's the home of Oxford United honors. Yeah, they have not. They won the league. Yeah, they won the League Cup in the 80s. They won the Carabao Cup in the 1985-86 season, and they won the like the EFL trophy, which is basically like a cup competition for like League 1 and 2 sides, it looks like here. They won that in 2015-16, 16-17. So like besides those kind of smaller level trophies, like in more recent times, they haven't really won anything since like the 80s. So we're kind of going for like a trophy at any kind of sort will be a complete success for this club, kind of the club at this level. But in terms of the kit quest kit and the player, the kit is this home kit here that is missing the sponsor for whatever reason, so it looks very empty and bare. But I do like it. I like it's a nice yellow color and all that jazz. I kind of do wish, like my of their three kits this season, my favorite probably is their purple third kit, but I do like this yellow one as well. All their kits are honestly pretty clean, to be honest. But I like it's a nice yellow kit, and then the player focus is, as I kind of mentioned earlier, it's scroll down here. It is here he is, Dane Scarlett. He's on loan from Tottenham here. This is kind of probably his do or die loan, as he is like 20 years of age. Kind of if he does well on this loan, he might have a shot at kind of being like third tier backup striker if we end up selling Richarlison at the end of the season or anything like that. Or if not, he might just end up being sold, kind of like Troy Parrott was last year after his loan at Excelsior. But I like Dane Scarlett. He seems like a nice enough kid, and he's been kind of hyped up for a while. Like he was at a point our record like youngest player to make an senior appearance for the club. I think under like Jose, he made his first appearance for the club, but this is kind of his last chance saloon. But he was kind of taking a bit because they do have like an established striker up here, Mark Harris, who scored like an absolute worldie of a goal, like in one of the first matches of the season before Dane Scarlett went there on loan, like an absolute worldie, like a volley from like way far out that went like top bins. Was excellent stuff. So he is kind of competing with him for playing time. So outside of a start in the League Cup, Scarlett has been mostly relegated to substitute appearances, but he made the most of his substitute appearance in that last game against West Brom. So hopefully he can kind of get more appearances and more goals and kind of have a successful loan spell here. But kind of so he's our player focused, as you kind of know. This is kind of wrapping up here because I'm going to have to go through all the menus and stuff on my own here. Except I guess I might as well go through the board objectives here. But I did kind of set it because this is like because I guess I kind of like something like the changes they made to like in terms of turning on settings and turning off settings and whatnot for these. I have changes so I can't get sacked just because like that's kind of like lame. The whole point of this is just like to stick with the one club and the one player. So me getting sacked kind of just does nothing for it, especially with how kind of arbitrary it can be sometimes. So we will still try and complete all these objectives here, but like some of them it's like not gonna be like some of the like transfer and youth development ones like I'm not gonna give like any care about because like I don't have to complete them. I'm not going to, but all these other kind of objectives like the domestic ones and like this first youth development one here and like the brand exposure and stuff, I'm gonna try and complete these. But everything like that kind of stuff is different, and I like how like you kind of change like scouting and stuff like that. You can change as well, but I kind of kept things mostly the same. The only thing is I did change like the actual gameplay to like the simulation kind of set stuff. So in doing that, I bumped the difficulty down to pro. I was playing on world class in FC24. So I'm gonna try out like these preseason games. I'm gonna try it out. There's like simulation style like sliders and stuff that they like have implemented in the game without you having to like manually tweak everything like you probably did in the past. We'll give it a try on pro, see how it is. If it's like the right kind of difficulty for me, I'll keep sticking with that. If it's a little too easy, I'll go to world class in the simulation settings. If it's a little too hard, I'll bump it down a level and kind of work my way up. But as you're going to see here, our manager here is Phantom of the Opera from Orleans in our FGO Let's Play, which is also on a channel that like is kind of on hold for now because I'm doing kind of these series with the characters from Orleans and whatnot. But I'm kind of hyped for this. This is a cool kit. This is a new challenge for me, kind of working with a really small budget. Like I think our budget, if we go here to the office, our transfer budget is like 2 million. Yeah, it's like £2 million, I think. Initial budget, maybe not. Where's like the? Yeah, they gotta. I'm gonna have to use these menus. Here, enter inbox. That might help me out here. Commercial targets, blah blah. We want to increase our sales from kits. Well, I will be buying a kit if we complete this, so IRL, I'd be helping them out. But Youth Academy report, vision expectations, introductions. There is no like transfer market thing here. We had pretty sure the budget that was like only like a couple of £1 million or so. So it's gonna be very hard for us to like upgrade and whatnot here, but I'll do my best. As kind of a reminder how like my transfer policy works. I am gonna try and keep to it as best as possible with this, even though it is gonna be more challenging. I'm gonna try it, see how it works out, because this is kind of experimental here for future kit quests and whatnot. But squad building kind of are 6 pillars, as I kind of have them. Is the number one is to keep the focus player, so that's Dane Scarlett from Tottenham. So honestly, most of our transfer budget this season might be like spent on keeping him around because his value is like what? Oh, his market value is only like yeah, so that's like still I think like a decent chunk of our transfer budget right there. To be honest, is our budget's so small, is going to be on keeping Dane's kind of making this loan from Tottenham permanent. But so that's kind of the pillar one is keeping him, Dane Scarlett, around. The second pillar is like because this is like England, whatever they have like the. Well, this is also more like for European stuff. We ever get to that point, but it's kind of nice to, even though we might never ever get to that point, it's nice to kind of just keep the squad built in this way just in case. But it's then second kind of pillar is to have 4 club trained players. So I'm gonna have to go through their squad because I like know nothing about like any of these players. I don't get like my free time like before I kind of actually start moving along with stuff. I'm gonna have to go through the squad and look at everyone, see who's club trained and whatnot. And I'll have all the information by spreadsheet, and I'll probably mention it at the end of the season recap, at the end of the season. And then the other pillar is like because like you're supposed to have 8 club homegrown players in total, but like for Europe, only 4 of them can be like association trained. So Scarlett will count as that. He'll be one of our association trained players in addition to being the focus player. And then in terms of buying and keeping like foreign players, they're going to be from the same team as the focus player. So Dane Scarlett is going to be obviously Tottenham Hotspur, so I might try and bring in a couple of their prospects like Jamie Donnelly and stuff for cheap if I can. But it's also he's been on loans to Portsmouth and Ipswich Town, so I'll kind of be hitting them up for players potentially as we kind of try and upgrade the squad as we go along here. And then in addition to that, from the same nation as the kind of the manager. The manager is like the Phantom of the Opera, as I said earlier, and he's kind of the story is based in. He's kind of his traditional place of birth is France, so potentially so you're gonna have a decent amount of French players potentially on this kit quest, but a decent amount of French players as well. Then board objectives, that's like if they're like we want X players from this nation, like this like region, the world, and stuff like that. But I doubt because this is such a small club, there probably won't be too many of those. But that's why it's also kind of at the bottom of the priority list in terms of building the squad. But in terms of selling players, it's like they have 2 years or less in their contract, and they don't fit into these like six pillars, basically the five pillars, because six is like just bringing players in. These first five pillars, if they don't fit with them, they get sold. If they do, they get re-signed to new contracts and whatnot. And that's how it works. In terms of building the squad, I'm probably gonna try in each season like figure out what my best 11 is and like what formation to use with this team. I have to like do some research into like how their manager, who is Des Buckingham, he seems like a pretty decent manager from like what I've seen from some of the videos I've watched on from like the Oxford United YouTube channel and stuff. He's a good manager. Kind of see how he sets his team up. I kind of try and mimic that with the new system in FC25 that I get used to. But yeah, this is kind of just the introduction here. So let me scroll back down to Dane Scarlett here. But yeah, so this is kind of it for this introduction. Because a lot of this stuff I'm going to have to figure out like in my own time, and I'll kind of probably re-bring up slightly at different points in the season recap at the end of the 24-25 season. But there's also might be one where like this initial episode might come out whatever day it comes out, but there might be a decent gap in between episode just because of me like doing all this stuff and me being kind of busy IRL and also trying to because this is like in the middle of the currently ongoing season. I'm gonna try and like keep it a little bit slower so I can try and help the results match up as much as possible. Like I will say this is like I'm recording this in between that match I was talking about against West Brom, but also then before they have a match like that was a Saturday. They have a match on Tuesday, which is like not today. I'll be doing this on before then, so I might try and like hold off a little bit, move advancing the season to that point because the match is literally like in a day or two, and like try to mimic that result. But I was trying to get this introduction in because I was like hyped because he scored. I went out and went to like Target or whatever and got a copy of FC25, and here we are. But I am pretty hyped for this, so kind of thank you to everyone who is watching this, and next episode will be the season recap.